Hello friends, how are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having an amazing day so far. I'm Marcus and welcome to my review of the Trillium from One Drop Yo-Yos. From the creators behind a huge name come a neat little addition to the spinner world. This tri-spinning gem from the hands of Shawn and his team at One Drop Yo-Yos has given me an amazing look and feel at what superb machining and thinking outside of the box could bring to the spinner community. Whether it was a few months ago when I first got a chance to try it out, or nowadays whenever I pick it up from time to time, it continues to amaze me at how it feels and how it spins like no other spinner. The Trillium spins silent and smooth, like spreading a thick slab of butter on a mirror. Not 100% though, since you can still hear a slight swish from the center of the Trillium. A very slight one. Please don't spread butter on the mirror. Though this particular one that you guys are seeing now is a prototype with the brass buttons instead of the titanium ones from the production models, it still feels equally as amazing as the production models. I just adore how Shawn and his team have turned a tri-spinner design into such an interesting concept, allowing for ease for users to interchange parts and weights. The idea for it came from their years and years of designing yo-yos, with their invention of the customizable side effects exosystem for yo-yo enthusiasts. The combination of the light and tough titanium plates for the durability of the frames and the heavy brass weights on all three ends allow for all of the heft to be pushed away from the center, allowing for long spin times. These weights with great rounded edges also provide for great fidgeting with the Trillium, be it titanium or brass. Since my Trillium came with only the brass weights, I unfortunately have been absorbed into the heftiness of it all. I feel like somehow if I were to get a set of titanium weights now or get myself a production Trillium model, I would just stick with the brass weights on it instead. Unless Shawn, which I know you're watching this review right now, decides to go exotic on all of us and start making weights using tungsten. Only then will I actually want to get a set of those, which will make for a truly amazing experience. I'm waiting on your call, Shawn. Those factors also mean that when Shawn first sent out the prototypes to reviewers way before I got into the scene, his team had already perfected what they wanted in the Trillium. Truly an extraordinary piece right here. From what One Drop mentions on their site, the Trillium consists of two titanium body parts that capture the bearing, which is retained axially rather than radially like most spinners. That, along with great machining on the two titanium plates for a R188 bearing, allows for great customization options without the need for either press fit or the use of a glue. This factor was a huge surprise to me when I first tore the Trillium apart. Well, not tore exactly, but dismantle to try a different bearing. It's a simple yet smart bearing retention method. For the buttons on this guy, I just gotta say that they are comfy for what they do, and the silicone grips truly allow for a much more secured grip. I've held the Trillium with them vertically on my side, and it never felt like the entire spinner was gonna slip. The button to weight thickness ratio is also just about right for me. From the design alone, this Trillium can be seen as a throwback to One Drop themselves, with the weights on the ends looking like thick yo-yos, and the center of the frames looking like the side profile of some yo-yos flipped inside out from One Drop, like the Code 1 or the Lab Experiment number 1 from 2011.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Myth Fidget Busters, where we try and debunk every single fidgeting myth there is about this fidgeting world. Now we're gonna look at the Trillium this time round and see whether or not it is the bearings or the body itself that is making this thing almost silent. Now let's give this a spin. There is that slight little whirl for the next control test. Alright, let's give this a spin. Here we go. Here is the old school stainless steel ones from Stealth Spinners themselves. Let's give this a spin.
Myths aside, there are a few factors that may or may not break the decision to get the Trillium for you. First off are the buttons. This is kind of a personal pet peeve of mine with the silicone grips. There is no doubt that they do a pretty great job at allowing me to have a better grip of the entire spinner. But I kinda wish that the grips were slightly thinner so they can be flushed with the buttons. Sure, the silicone grips will end up with some tint of yellow with use, but they are always available from One Drop themselves. Nothing lasts forever with continuous usage anyway. Don't get me wrong though, these silicone pads are helpful, but for me, they just need to be just a little thinner. Secondly, with how the titanium frames are machined to hold the bearing axially in the Trillium and hugging the bearing that's in it from top to bottom, you don't get much variety of buttons in the spinner world to choose from for the Trillium. Besides the original buttons, as of now, on the last week of September 2017, there are only the buttons of the rotor blade pendulum and the buttons of the BZ Mic's Cortex spinner that will fit the Trillium. I haven't had many spinner buttons to fiddle with, so those are the only two sets of buttons that I know of for now. Lastly, it has come to my attention that for whoever that's got the titanium weights on their Trillium, they might find the exposed and unchamfered edges of the frames feeling like hot spots. This is due to the fact that the titanium weights are of a shorter diameter than the brass weights. So when you do a hard preloaded flick with the titanium weights on, you might feel the unchamfered edges coming into contact with your finger if it ends up slipping to the center. I've never had this problem since I inherited this prototype with only the brass weights. Just my few cents on fidgeting with the titanium weights. Overall, my experience with the Trillium has been a fruitful one. The brass weights truly give it that heft that it needs, and what I feel is just right in my hand. Not too heavy and pleasantly spins well enough not to have that gyro effect to it. Little bit of a story time here. I used to prefer bar spinners over tri-spinners until I accidentally won this in an auction, and my oh my, the smoothness of this gem has brought me over to the dark side. But it certainly wouldn't hurt for One Drop to give the community a bar spinner with the customizable concept of the Trillium. Wink wink. Shawn. Wink wink. The Trillium is truly a well-blossomed gem in the spinner world, but for me, I would truthfully want to see some chamfering to be done on the exposed edges of the frames, and I would love to see some titanium weights done with a wider diameter for better fidgeting. Oh, and tungsten weights please to be done, cause tungsten is my favorite exotic metal, beating Damascus. For a retail price of 180 bucks, you're getting one heck of a deal here, with the option to choose from a hefty spinner with brass weights or a lighter spinner with titanium weights. If you don't mind some of the minor issues and love a spinner that spins smoothly and quietly with no feedback, I'll say go ahead and have fun with the Trillium. Thank you guys so much for sticking to the very end of this review. I appreciate it a ton as usual. Thank you guys for dropping by to hear my wonderfully awkward voice. If you guys are interested in buying a Trillium, be sure to visit One Drop Yo-Yos in the link below. Go ahead and tell Shawn that Marcus says hi, send him my regards. Thank you guys once again. Stay strong, keep a smile on your face, and I will see you guys around. Ciao.